All right. Let's try this again. I think that my laptop got a little overloaded. I might have to use the gaming PC when I do these streams. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But we're going to continue on. So basically, we've got the drive out here. We've got the soft pack disk made. So I'm going to go ahead and boot this and set the, have it reload the ROM here. And we can see if we look in the upper right-hand corner, this has the dreaded 7.32 ROM, which is exactly what you don't want. So we're going to go ahead and boot up and take care of that. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and open up this other caddy here. So this particular caddy has a 810 megabyte drive in it, as you can see there by the spare part number sticker. And also, we've got a Seagate drive in here. So it's a Seagate ST9810A. Oh, that's gnarly, isn't it? There we go. I'm using a VGA to LSB or to USB card here, and I guess it kind of works. A little off center. We'll take it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop this one out. All right, meanwhile, this is getting ready to do its little ROM flash, so we'll see what happens. Pick a firmware here. Either one's fine. As far as I can tell, they're identical. Pulling this drive out. And once again, oh, that's interesting. Look at that. That doesn't look good. Ugh. Well, I guess this is kind of somewhat like shiny, so I guess it could adhere a little bit, but we definitely don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this drive out of here. We will set that aside as well. Little Seagate drive. Oh yeah, so the whole point of what I was trying to do here was get these apart so that I can replace the these little duct tape pieces, as I call them, because otherwise, good luck pulling the drive out of the machine with these things unavailable. Cool, it looks like a backup's been made, so we can go ahead and flash the ROM on this. So yeah, that's kind of my objectives. I want to test both of these caddies. I also want to test out the memory that came with it, though I think that the memory module, is it this one? No. This is the memory module that came with it. I think it's defective. It's like detecting as like 4 megabytes, and it's a 16 megabyte module, so there's definitely something wrong. So we're going to see what we can do with that too. But yeah, we'll test these out. We'll test that out. Maybe we'll swap out a keyboard. And somewhere around here, I have a roll of duct tape. Where'd it go? Ah, here it is. On the ground, off scene, where you can't see it. So we'll go ahead and pull a nice piece of duct tape out. And I think what I did the last time that I did one of these was to like cut a piece like this. And then from there we can like fold it over. And that makes a nice little little pull tab. And then I can take that other piece, and on the inside of the caddy we can just kind of secure it. So go ahead and flash the ROM here. So yeah, like so. I think fold it over like that, then we can just tape it in place and we'll be in good shape. So we'll see what happens. So I don't know if I could have made that any more crooked. You know how you fix that, right? Yeah, you just, you know, you cut it straight across. So I'm going to cheat. This is plenty good for the type of work we're doing here. So there's one, see? Fixed. Good as new. Yeah. So we'll set that aside. And then I'll fix the other one. Cool. Looks like the system ROM is reprogrammed. So let's go ahead and power this off and power it back on again. And actually, since I get distracted quickly, what I actually want to test out here is actually this CD-ROM drive. And I have a lot of CD-ROM drives. I don't have one like this. This is a 2X drive. And all of my other drives are either 6X, and I do have one that's 4X. So this is a Teak, I think it's like a 40E. Oh, come on, focus camera. Anyway, it's a 40E, and we're going to see if it's any good or if it blows the machine up. So let me do that, and we'll see what happens. Oof. So I've got that popped in the machine. Let me find a DVD here that I can try. How about this nice Graphic Companion Workshop DVD that we've seen featured in past videos? It's a real classic. So we'll go ahead and go through the boot sequence here. Oh, that's like nice. Getting a little bit of duplication here. But if we go through the boot sequence, let's see if it actually ends up detecting the CD-ROM drive. That was a little too fast. Let's see if we have like a drive D. Yeah? Okay. That's promising. So I'll put the CD in there and let's see what we get. Oh, wow. That's got like a really soft close mechanism. Most of these drives, it's like really clunky. This one's pretty soft. See if I can turn this a little bit this way. You can see it. So now let's try and see if we can read it here. Oh, that's a bad sign. Oh, there we go. Maybe not. Okay. So I think if we run like menu, that should start things up here and we can see some really gnarly games. Yeah, Santiago, it took me a couple of times to get the live stream right. The bit stream isn't really high. I think that my laptop might be a little underpowered for doing this. We're trying. So this is actually a really good sign. It looks like this is, it's slow, but it seems to be working. I mean, 2X CD-ROM drive. How long has it been since you've seen something that slow? So it looks like it works. We might grow old waiting for it to do anything, but let me see if I can at least launch one of these wonderful games. And I think I might have mentioned before the live stream died on me the first time that the mouse on this keyboard isn't working. So we're going to try and work that out as well as try to put a bezel on this keyboard that doesn't have these nice screw holes in where somebody obviously put the wrong screws in. So that can happen. But yeah, somebody wasn't quite paying attention when they did that. So it looks like this little program isn't too happy to run. So let's try another one. But in any event, it looks like the CD-ROM drive is working. So that's actually really good. That's actually why I bought the machine. So sometimes I find with these parts machines, it's actually easier to find a machine with what you're looking for in it and then just use the rest of the machine for whatever you want to do with it. So I've got the second one of these here. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape in it like I did on the first one so that we have two nice working caddies here. So once again, you can fix anything with duct tape or at least try. So there we have that. And once again, I found if I just kind of cut a little piece like this off the edge, I can then double it over and we'll be all good. Ooh, I'm seeing some not ready errors. This drive may need some head cleaning or may just not be happy. Let's just try and like copy some files over. I'm just gonna do that. So if we like make a directory on drive C, I'll just call it temp. And we'll just copy what's in the root here. I don't want to copy the whole CD over, but this keyboard's actually really nice. Sometimes the keyboards on these, the keys get like really, really stiff, but this keyboard's like super soft, so that's good. So we'll do, yeah, I think this is bad news. Shoot, that's unfortunate because that's really why I got this. We might try some alcohol to clean it, but yeah, I'm not optimistic that this is going to work, so that's unfortunate. But we'll give it another shot here. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? If not, maybe in a little bit I'll go see if I can find some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, and we'll clean that lens. That's all we can do. So, all right. Well, I've repaired the second one of these, so hopefully we now have two good caddies. I think I'm going to kind of give up on the. Oh, there we go. Who knows? Maybe this just hasn't, you know. Maybe it shook the debris off. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. Interesting. Nah, I think we're in bad shape here. Shoot. Well, once again, maybe in a little bit I'll try and grab some alcohol and clean it. But anyway, so let's test out these caddies. I mean, I'm actually real excited to see if they work. So once again, I think the drives are toast. Maybe we'll try one. Earlier I put a drive in, and yeah, the machine wouldn't even boot. So that was bad. I mean, it wouldn't even power on. So there was definitely something wrong. But let's see what we can do. Go ahead and power this guy off here. These drives are kind of a pain to get out. There's a little slider on the bottom here, and you push that down. And then, with a little bit of luck, you can pull the caddy out. And out it goes. So yeah, let's try again. I mean, I'm an optimist. Even though I tried one of these drives earlier, maybe it's going to work now. We'll see. So let's pop it in there. And actually, let me pop a floppy drive in here. That way, if we need to like run like F-disk, we can do that. So we'll go ahead and get that loaded up. Or die trying. Come on, get in there. There we are. Let's pop this over here. Yeah, you don't have to put the lid back on to put it back in there. So I hope. Hopefully it'll come back out again. I guess we'll see. All right, let's see what happens. Huh. All right, well, no squeaking or squealing. So I guess that's, oh, there we go. Hear that squealing? That's not a good sign. Let's go into setup here and see what we see. Hard drive 810 megabyte or 811 megabytes, so it did detect it. And you can see here the mouse is dead. You know, the pointer in the top left of the screen there, that little red dot, yeah, it's dead. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it'll boot. But based upon how that drive is sounding, I think it's toast. And we're kind of struggling here to make progress. Let's see. Wow, look at that. Oh, okay. Actually, well, okay, I stand corrected. Maybe this drive actually works. I don't know for how long, given those like nice squealing sounds that it's making, but okay. This is the 810 megabyte drive. Let's go ahead and put it in its case and set it aside. I won't do any like software installs on it today or anything, but that's good. I'm actually kind of pleased by that. That's one less SD card I have to buy if it does end up working. So let's pull that guy out. And I'm just going to put the screws back in the bottom here. So yeah, I agree with you, Santiago. I think that replacing them with SD cards is kind of a good idea. You know, like you kind of don't like the SD card to ID adapters because they're slow compared to the CF counterparts, but SDs are cheaper. Okay. Yeah, that's something I could look into as well. Predominantly, I've been using CF cards. I don't know if I've been saying SD cards, but CF cards. But yeah, I can look at either one. I actually kind of like to try, independent of if it'll work better or not, using like an SD card versus a CF card, because most of the ones I do have are CF cards. So that would be kind of fun to try. So let's go ahead and find the 810 lid here. Oh, actually, Aha, yep. I've got two 810 lids because the case that this came out of, or one of my drives came out of, was also 810. So let's pop that back on, do a final test, and then I'm going to put a good label on this, put it aside, and at some point later on I'll add it to my inventory because, yeah, I have just a few parts. A few more than I should. Luckily, I have a very understanding wife who lets me collect all this stuff. So anyway, so let's pop this in here one more time and just kind of watch it boot up because that's exciting. And then I'm going to get out the super scientific method of my labeling things where I get a little sticker and write good on it so I don't end up forgetting that something is good or not. So anyway, at least good enough because it looks like it was starting. Not making any squealing noises this time, so that's good. Oh, that is way off center, isn't it? That little panel there. We'll have to figure that out at some point. All right, here we go, starting Windows 95. So once again, I think I'm going to call that a good drive. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? So, or maybe I left it in there. So these drives do come with these little protectors here just to kind of keep a level of separation. Shoot, I can't remember if I put it in there or not. Yeah, I'm about as absent-minded as they come here, so I'm going to take it apart just to kind of check and see. Probably if anybody was watching me, they might have seen whether or not I put that in there or not, but I only see one of them on the desk, so one of them has gone missing somewhere. Anyway, what can I say? Let's see. I think I did leave it in there, actually, so let's see what we got. Easy enough to take apart. I take these things apart all the time, so got to keep the fleet running, you know. Whoa. And it's never a complete repair if you don't drop at least one screw on the floor. That's like the rules. So let's see what we got here. See how absent-minded I am. It's in there. Okay. So all that for nothing, but what can you do, guys? When you get old and forgetful like me, you have to double check everything. So actually, let's go ahead and put this back together. So anyway, how's the weather where everybody is? Here in Northern Virginia, it's been pretty nice. 70 degrees. I should be outside. But this came in the mail today, so I was kind of excited to put it together or test it out and see what's going on. And so far, we're doing good. We've got some good parts. So I think I paid like $15 for this. Emailed, it was a eBay purchase from Kentucky. So, all right, we'll get this all put back together. Come on. Drop one screw, it's a repair. You drop two, it's going to be an exceptional repair, right? One more test. Hey, what's going on, Ted? Leah? Oh, it's cold in Colorado. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I haven't done these before. Oh, Argentina. Yeah, I lived in Argentina for 2 years back in 1998, 1999. So, yeah. Great times. Wisconsin. Oh, hey, what's going on? I figured you should be here. I-8386SX. It's not a LTE Lite or Elite. I can never remember which ones you are after in favor, but it is a 5000 series that we're looking at today. So I guess that's something, right? Yeah, 57 degrees. Yeah, that's a little chilly. Oh, you're in Scotland. Okay. Yeah. Not snowing. That's always a good sign. Yeah, I've been waiting for the warmer weather here for a while. There we go. Seal of approval. Good. Definitely been waiting for the warmer weather. I get so tired of the cold weather, but it's been good. Now the only problem with the warmer weather is allergies. That is one thing I've been fighting here, but I guess that's just the way it is. All right, where did I put that other drive? Wow, here it is, buried over here. Yeah, this is usually i8386SX has no life. Now I don't believe that for a minute. So this is usually why I don't do the live streams. I do the pre-recorded because any given time, I'll probably lose my tools about 20 times. So, you know, you have to have that editing ability. As little editing as I do, you have to have that editing ability so you can work out all your blunders. So there we have it. Other drive in. This is a 1.35 gigabyte, I think. So, oh hey, there's somebody who's not too terribly far, I think, if they're saying Northern Virginia. Yeah, I guess we do have some storms rolling in as I look out the window. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I guess it was a good day to get inside. Now, Tim, for the past week or two, I've been wanting to fertilize the lawn, but every time I go to do it, it rains. So what can you do, right? But I guess that is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Ted. First crack at this, the stream just kind of ended suddenly. I went and closed a couple of tabs in Chrome, and then things got better. So this is saying missing operating system, but I hear the drive spinning. Let's see if we can like put an F-disk partition on here. Let's do a little Control-Alt-Delete here. This is exciting. Wow, everything's working so far, possibly. See, I should have like done this for the first time live. When I put these drives in when the machine first came, nothing worked. Now everything's working, so that's always a good sign. So if we pop into BIOS here, it has detected a 1358 megabyte disk. So, okay. Let's go ahead and boot from the floppy disk here. 39 when you're outside. Woo! Snow tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah. That's no fun. Or I guess it can be if you want to build a snowman. I know my kids do like to go outside and do that from time to time. Yeah, I am a fan of the warmer weather. So I'm holding down the shift key so that we can bypass like all the startup files because we don't really need to load CD-ROM drivers. Wow, this keyboard's nice. I know I've already said it, but boy, is it nice. So let's display partition info, and there's one non-DOS partition. How curious. So we'll go ahead and nuke that. Yeah, I'm not going to go trying to find like other people's data or anything, so we'll just do that. And plus it didn't boot, so there's that. Okay, partition deleted. Let's see if we can create a new one. So far, so good. And partition created. Let's see if we can format the disk. Wow, might end up with 2 good hard disks here. I'll take it. Can't beat it. What I'm real curious about, though, is, as I noted, the memory module was detecting as 4 megabytes, and it's supposed to be 16. So there's definitely something wrong there. Probably the compact utility is useless on the 5000 series. So true, yeah. I never load the utilities. I load as little as possible. How often do people leave their data on hard drives I get? Like every time. I guess with this being an exception, yeah, people are always leaving data on the drives, which is unfortunate. But yeah, definitely, that's something I get rid of right away if we have it. There's no reason to keep that around. All right, format drive C. So if this will make it through a format, then I think that we'll consider that to be successful. And I'll have 2 nice parts items there. Cool, so we're going to let that cook for a little bit over here. And I think what I want to do next is, whoa, there we go. I think what I want to do next while that's formatting, that doesn't sound good. No, I think we're in trouble. Yeah, this disk isn't any good. How did, hi son, I see you downstairs. How did compact LTEs become my system of choice for collecting? Now that's a very good question. So basically, so when I was in high school or maybe early college, I came home for the summer and actually worked at a place called the Data Place in Newark, Delaware, and ended up fixing a lot of LTE 5000s, and I thought they were kind of cool. And the funny thing is, I actually like the Armadas better. So how did I end up with LTE 5000s? I don't know. Well, actually, I kind of do. I like the challenge of repairing a machine, and what I'll usually do is like fix a machine, then I put it on the shelf and don't use it. I guess that's just kind of like with my background in repair. I always enjoyed repairing them, but then I repair them, and then it's like, now what do I do with it? So with the LTE 5000, here's the deal. If you want to max it out with like a 64 megabyte module, good luck. They're hard to find. If you want to find a CD-ROM drive, good luck. And if you want to find a floppy drive even nowadays, good luck. So I think I kind of like the challenge of trying to get these restored. And I do have 11 of them that are completely maxed out with hard drive, CD-ROMs, and 64 megabyte module upgrades. So I guess from that standpoint, I've just really enjoyed the hunt. And I've got some stories about how I found some of those. So yeah, yeah, definitely. So what I'm going to do now is, now I'm like paranoid. So we're going to put this 810 megabyte disk in and try formatting it. Fortunately, let's see, somebody asked, was that the good drive? No. This one was the bad drive. Well, let me put it this way. It was one I hadn't marked good yet. So I am putting the good drive in back now, and we're going to just try and format it just for sanity. But I think it's fair to say that that other drive is probably no good. So it's going to end up in the bit bucket in the sky or something like that, I'm afraid. So Santiago, when I got some Dell laptops out of a scrap pile out of a company, all of them were encrypted with an MBR resident app. Oh, wow. But on users' machines, they don't even carry. That is so true. Yeah, right? Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. Yeah, so Santiago, some kind of excitement, trying to get the system in top shape and trying to max it out with stuff that might have been prohibitively expensive back then. So true. I totally agree with you. Oh, why is this so off center? I'm sorry. Let me see if I can fix this. That's like impossible to see, but it looks like it is formatting to some percentage complete. Let me just try and flip video modes here. This, okay, it's just trying to create a recovery file and having a problem. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so now it's like not showing the whole screen at all. That's kind of bizarre. What I'm using is this VGA to USB LR, and I also have a Startronics, I think it is, video adapter. And I actually ended up using both of them at the same time recently because I was wanting to do a send and receive for a video that you guys are going to see here in a few weeks, and that ended up being really convenient. So anyway, yeah, okay. Looks like the screen did kind of fix itself, and it's about 24% formatting and making progress. So I'm actually very encouraged that we have a good drive here. Dr. Dave, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, Matthew. Yeah, we're back. Yes, IBM Museum. My live streaming kind of died, and then it came back again, so that was kind of cool. Sorry if I'm missing the chat here. Have I tried? Oh, Hank asks, have I tried up using WinGroove? Not yet. It's on the list, I think. I think you suggested that. I've got a spreadsheet. I'm going to guess I've got 80 video ideas in there that I want to get through, so we'll definitely give that a shot. Just haven't gotten around to it, but we'll definitely do that. And yes, Ted, I agree with you as well. I much prefer tinkering around with hardware and getting it fixed, and then on the shelf it goes, and that's kind of it. So that's good. Okay, so while this is happy, well, a couple things. I think that this drive that we see here is, yeah, going to end up elsewhere. I guess I need to recycle it or something, but I'm not going to work too hard to try and restore it. But what I'm going to do is at least put this caddy aside, and we'll use that for some sort of a future thing. Yeah, this is a Toshiba drive. I've had kind of mixed luck with these, so I'm not too terribly surprised that it ended up dying. But then again, I mean, the machines are 20 years old, so I guess nothing is really a surprise. So we'll put that aside, and I'll just go ahead and put this back together, and then we're going to have a look at some other things here. Something interesting. So anyway, make sure this is scrolling along here. Yeah. So So yeah, I guess as folks know, my system of choice is the LTE 5000 series. Might have seen the video I put out this week about the differences on the models. I am missing the 2 models on my bingo card. I may or may not plan to pick those at some point, but I don't have a 5150 and I don't have a 5200, but I do have a 5000, 5100, 5250, 5280, 5300, and 2 5400s, and I think I have 1 or other duplicates, but anyway, Toshiba syndrome. Yeah, so what we've found with the Toshibas is that the plastics over time definitely degrade. I don't know about the systems themselves, but definitely something there. So anyway, so those are kind of my systems of choice. You guys should tell me what your systems of choice are. So Hank says, I had my own repair this week, played with my CMOS triggering a reset, not a big deal, but the reset triggered a bug and a fail-save, preventing me from going into the BIOS completely. Ooh, yeah. Ted Branson, time for a cup of tea. You might need the caffeine watching me. I'll put you to sleep, so that's probably not a bad idea. So anyway, moving along, what we're going to do now is I do want to try and swap out the bezel since, as we noted, this bezel has some nice screw marks in it where somebody put in long screws where they should have put in short screws. So while we do that, what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of donor machines here, and this donor machine here has a pretty nice looking bezel, but not the nicest looking keyboard. And I think that the mouse pointer works on this, so we'll plan to transplant the bezel and the pointer, and I'm going to keep the actual pointing cap off of the other one because it's in better shape than this. And we'll kind of go from there. And hey, our format finished. Excellent. So it looks like that was successful. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and do a teardown of this guy. Maybe I'll reposition the camera a little better. And we'll take the keyboard out, and then we'll kind of go from there. So awesome. Meanwhile, maybe I can put on a nice backdrop of flying toasters or something for the video portion. So Hank says, turned out with the BIOS I had on, if you had a 50% chance of a CMOS reset bringing it to a state of 1 corrupted boot, and then that bug, but multiple resets and a BIOS downgrade later, it's fixed. Yeah. That's just the thing, is just like anything else, BIOS is just software, so it can be buggy, and that's definitely what you can see from time to time, so it can definitely be buggy. So Santiago had a 386DX, which you bought with your own money in 2005, and much later acquired a Dell Latitude C610. Oh, I loved those. I had an Inspiron 600M that was pretty similar, and my dad had a 600, which I absolutely loved. That thing was a tank. The metal casing on those alone was just like so strong. So definitely those are tanks. Very cool. And those are the two we'd consider that you like. That's awesome. I love that. That's great. Definitely loved my Dell Latitude. People give Dell a lot of shade, but Dell made some pretty decent systems. So for Tim, it's early PC compatibles. This means MFM hard drives, yes. IDE to CFSD card adapters in their systems. Well, if you get an XT IDE card, you could definitely get IDE support on a legacy system. And I tend to do that on several of my systems. My PS2 Model 30 has that. My Tandy 1000HX has that, plus some other contortions because the 1000HX really isn't geared towards standard expansion cards. But thanks to some friends I have, I was able to get some parts and get it where it needed to be. So that was kind of cool. It worked out pretty good. Let's see here. And then Santiago said, yeah, built like a tank and ended up having both a dock. Oh, wow. 1.2, amazing piece of engineering. Yes, for sure. Those were definitely business class machines. The Inspiron 600M that I had, which is very similar to it, was a consumer class machine, and you could tell it had much the same form factor, but it had a kind of more of a plastic top. So it definitely wasn't as durable as, say, the D6 600. All right, so I've removed the CPU cover. I guess I should kind of show you what I'm doing here. And that's been taken off. And what I'm going to do is get this keyboard out of here. And we'll see how good my memory is. I've swapped out bezels before. Chances are good you guys are going to see me kind of blunder all over the place because whenever I swap out a bezel, I always kind of forget which screws I have to take out, which ones I don't. End up taking out way too many screws, cursing a little bit. I guess I won't do that since it's a live stream. And then from there, eventually getting things back to good. So we'll see how good my memory is. Now, on these compacts, the keyboard is not something that you would like replace the components. The way it was designed, and everything with compact had this concept of a spare part number, is you would actually replace the whole keyboard assembly, so you wouldn't just replace the mouse or otherwise. So, Matthew Camp, a Dell D620 and D830. First laptop was the 620, but shortly after got the hard drive. You got it, the hard drive died, and your dad had a D830. Passed it down, and now have both of them running Windows XP. That seems like the perfect operating system to be running. And in my opinion, I actually, I don't think of XP as vintage because I have a machine that runs XP every single day. But XP is vintage and a great operating system. And actually, it's almost 7 o'clock, so that machine's going to power on here in a few minutes. Hopefully it doesn't kick my monitor out. I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I'm over on the other side here, taking the screws out. Yes, Tim, yes, the XTID does not always work. That is very, very, very true. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. The Tandy 1000HX, which I need to do a proper video on at some point that I have, has a series of plus adapters and an XTCF mini in it, since that's all that would really fit in there. But yeah, not every single machine is going to support that for sure. All right, one more screw here and the keyboard should pop off. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling that this is going to go horribly wrong. We'll see. You know what I should probably try on that 5100 is seeing if maybe it's just like the mouse is loose as opposed to bad. It probably is bad, but we'll maybe we'll test that out before we get too far into it. So, removed the display cable here, removed the microphone cable, and now should be able to pop this out. Come on. What we end up finding is this can end up catching down here a little bit, but with a little bit of persuasion, it will certainly pop out. So, all right. Unhook the keyboard. Ah, nice electronic smell from back in the time. So, and it looks like I have had this keyboard apart, and it says keyboard is good. And given that I've had this apart, I have a feeling that the mouse on this one's going to be bad. But that's okay. I've got other ones lying around. But let's at least work to steal the bezel off of it, assuming that I can actually get this right. So here's the bezel. Once again, not a user serviceable component, but in theory, I should be able to undo, I want to say I have to undo these screws here, and then maybe like here, and actually I think this will pop right through. So let's just start undoing screws here and see how big of a fool I can make of myself, you know? See what happens. So definitely some things that I know more about than others. I was hoping to show you guys some nice flying toasters here, but looks like that machine doesn't want to engage, and I forgot that I can't just use the mouse to go to the magic After Dark corner, so there's that too. Yeah, I agree with you, Ted. I love how modular these are. It's really nice. Whenever I have a machine that won't start up, I know it's one of three things. It's either the processor card, the CPU, yeah, the processor card, the motherboard, or the DC to DC inverter, and it's nice. Hey, there we go. There are the toasters. It's nice that you can just kind of like take that apart and work through it. Oh, so Santiago saw some MFM emulators on YouTube. A guy who used to work for them for a Mighty Frame mini computer uses a BeagleBone Black and a board on top of it. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah, definitely. That's something worth checking out. If you can find that, that would definitely be cool. All right, so we're going to try here. See if we can undo some of these and see if we can free that bezel. And then I can take the bezel, take the keyboard off of the other machine and see what we can do here. So with those two screws undone, we have released this like left latch, which includes this eject slider. So there's that as well. And all right, let's go ahead and pull this out on the other side as well. See what we can do, right? But yes, I definitely appreciate the modularity of these. It's super nice. All right, how are we going to get this out? I think we might have to, yeah, I think we're gonna have to take this off. Let me see if I have tooling for that. Actually, I don't. Let me go grab some tooling for this. I'll be right back. All right. Found my way over to the retro closet where we can hopefully find the right driver here. I think this will do the job. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, I tried to get all set up for this. I thought I had everything all together, and yeah, apparently not. So Hank asks, so Chris, you seem to have a lot of deeper knowledge and interest of retro corporate networking. Were you a sysadmin in the Novell days or just learned it as a hobby? Just learned it as a hobby. I did administer my school's network when I was in high school. Yeah, just kind of learned it as a hobby. My background, I guess there were a few years there where I was doing some consulting work during the high school years. But like professionally, I'm a software developer, so I don't do much with like sysadmin. If something breaks from an IT perspective, I end up calling somebody else, since my primary work is going to be on software. But yeah, that's what I do. Cool. So I'm pulling all these components out, getting closer to a point where hopefully we can get this bezel out. Once again, like I said, I'm probably going to do this 100% the wrong way. I'm wondering if at this point it's just going to snap out. What are the chances? Of course, if I break something in the interim, I'm going to feel really, really stupid. Hello there, Squidward's Daddy 12, it looks like. Welcome to the stream. Come on in, the water is fine. All right, so it looks like maybe these two screws need to come out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and try pulling those out. And with a little bit of luck, I'll remember how this all goes back together. Probably not. Oh my goodness. Well then. Hey! So, in some cases I can say, I know what the heck I'm doing. Today, we have to attribute this to beginner's luck because I got it out. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. But I think I might take a picture before I take the other one apart. Not that I don't have 12 other LTEs around here. So, hey, re-enthused, how's it going? Trying to remember what time zone you're in. I don't know if it's late or early for you. Welcome. So, yeah, at this point we have a ton of screws, so we'll just kind of put things aside here, and hopefully we can remember what's what, but I'm going to be a little more careful now. So unfortunately we're going to lose our flying toasters here, but yeah, we'll power that off. All right. Then we can pull the other keyboard. This time I'll actually pay attention. Go ahead and pull my network card out. Yeah, everything's networked, wireless network and MS-DOS. That's the way to go, right? Yeah, you're right, Ted. I am going, oh, 11 p.m. Okay, I'm very enthused. You're right, Ted. I'm going to end up having to watch the stream again to figure out how to put the darn thing back together. As silly as it may sound, there have been times where I have gone back and referred to my past videos to remember how to do something. Yeah, they're kind of educational in their own right for reminding me how I did something. There was one I watched the other day. I had a 5400 LTE, of course, and it was having some video problems. And I knew I had a video on some attempted repairs, but I couldn't remember how far along I made it, so I had to go back and watch it. That is interesting. So Hank says, I'm the kind of guy you'd call them, haha, sysadmin for a small IT provider, so help desk is included in the job. Retro stuff is a hobby for me too, but the day job is all Windows. There you go. Hey, Brandon, how's it going? Good to see you. But yeah, Hank, so yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. I have a lot of respect for the sysadmins who keep things going. Uh-oh, I guess I was a little careless. I think I might have broke something off the bezel, so we're going to have to find where that went and glue that back on. Yeah, B. Bishop, I'm trying to take a play out of your book and repair an LTE, so we'll see how it goes. It's, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, as far as like disassembly of these for like not the keyboard, I can pretty much take these apart in my sleep, but when it comes to doing things like trying to replace a keyboard bezel or otherwise, forget it. I don't know what I'm doing at that point, but I can tell you exactly the ordering to take these apart, and it doesn't always have to be the same. So either I live alone or have a very understanding spouse, yes. So yeah, a lot of folks may have noticed I don't really have a proper recording studio. This is like my second floor of the house. So folks are kind of doing their things. You may hear the kids pop in and do things. Though my son is in the basement. I think he's playing some games. And I think I have one daughter who's a teenage daughter, and she's asleep. And then I have, I think the youngest is, I don't know what the youngest is up to. She may show up. All right, I dropped the second screw, so that makes this an official repair. So Tim says he was a Novell 3.x and 4.x admin briefly along with Banyan Vines. Would love to fire up Vines again and play with it, but they use parallel port license dongles. Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's whenever you end up with those sorts of things. I guess there's people who have worked around it, so. But yeah, that's definitely a consideration to have for sure. Definitely something you have to do that. Yeah, B. Bishop, you have that nice dungeon lab. I have a couple of spare rooms in the basement. I probably just need to convert one. One of them is a bedroom, another one is an office. I'd hate to do that because then it becomes not as usable as a bedroom or an office, but maybe it's going to be time to do that, since up here, well, the audio quality isn't the best, and whenever I'm doing the recording, I definitely have to scream at everybody to be quiet, and they are very understanding. So, but yeah, I definitely need some sort of a lab. What was it I saw where they have the computer, the ideal house floor plan, and I've seen this for a variety of different things, but you've got like the house, the kitchen, just a little tiny room, bathroom, computer room. So maybe that's what I need, and that would solve all the problems. But yeah, this house has a fair amount of space. We just don't have it quite proportioned properly. So maybe at some point we'll do that. So, hey, Mitchell, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, B. Bishop, I thought that's what you did. I thought you were in IT for a school district as well. Vintage equipment in actual use, yes. There's that's usually the case, isn't it? The school districts tend to be a little bit behind, depending upon what their budget situation looks like, and vintage tech is not always cheap, or new tech is not always cheap, so you end up with that. 15 years, wow, that's awesome. I forget how long I am into my career, but it's been pretty much software development and tech leadership, pretty much. So yeah, here we go. Now you can see a nice close-up of the screws that went just a little too far. This one's probably my favorite, you know, if we're a little bit closer to that mouse key, then maybe it actually could have gone straight through the key. But yeah, someone definitely put the wrong screws in there, so that's what it is. So Bishop, we've moved on from those days. Yes, I can see that how things have evolved. But all right, so this time, since you know, I guess I could just refer back. I'm going to do the lazy thing, assuming I can get my password right, and I'm going to take a picture, and that way, I will know where everything goes here when we go to put this back together. So, yeah, as I'm looking at these screws that I took apart, I think there were those like 4 flathead screws, and actually that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line up what I have with what I have, and we can kind of see what's going on. Oh, I have one over here too. Goodness, I got stuff all over the place. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and let's see here. There's a 4th one, I think, somewhere. Oh, okay, I think I ended up having to take those out as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be 5 flatheads. Let's see here. Are all flatheads present and accounted for? Yeah, which screwball did that? I don't know. I could see it's an easy mistake because this is your standard size screw for the keyboard. And for the actual rest of the machine, whoops, like I said, the more you drop, the better. For the rest of the machines, they have these longer screws. Hey, here's a novel idea, Chris. Why don't you put them next to each other? Then you can actually see the difference. Yeah, I'm new here, guys. Here, let's try this. So, yeah, you can kind of, yeah, that's much better, Chris. Good job. You can kind of see that one is bigger than the other. So somebody obviously, as they were putting this back together, put it in the wrong place. So anyway, I guess that can happen. Oh, we have these 2 little brass ones as well for the mouse. So I'm going to set, once again, everything off to the side here so that I don't screw up too badly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that all of the flathead screws are the same size, hopefully. It looks like it, so that's good. I'm calling them flathead screws. They are Phillips, but they just have this kind of a flat top to them, as I grab one without a flat top to show you. Anyway, I digress. Is this one here? Nope. All right, well, that may be gone and lost forever. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe there were only 4. We'll go with that, right? And I'm going to be a little more careful now as I take this apart. So Hank says, many PCs in the house here are 10-year-old PCs. No matter how old the i5 is, it is good enough for most users. Of the Core i5? Yeah, that's what my, no wait, actually I think my laptop's a Ryzen 5, but yeah. The gaming PC / video editing PC that we just bought, or built, is a Ryzen 9. It's pretty fast, but I don't use it, so, except for video editing. My son's the one who ends up using it most of the time. So, all right, so we're going to disconnect this. Oh, it's nice, kind of weirdish tape. Oh, I should see where that, I guess I could be a little more careful. I want to see where that one little wedge went. So this was the other bezel. And as I noted, I think I had cracked something. Is it here? Nope. But I think somewhere there was definitely a little bridge piece of plastic, and I'm not really sure where it goes, to be honest, trying to find it. But in any event, I guess it is what it is. Maybe we'll try some glue here, but once we get it apart, I'll have a closer look and see if I can find it, because I'm kind of curious as to where that went. So, all right, so we've got 2 screws out so far. I'm not making a lot of progress here. And we'll go ahead and pick the rest out. See if we can rebuild this guy. That's a good idea, B. Bishop. I should go and get some foil tape. I saw that you did that the other day, and that was a good idea. I found that the tape that comes with these, it doesn't quite go back on very well. It's pretty well spent, shall we say. So definitely need to do that. All right, so we're going to lift this out. And from there, we're going to lift this out here. So Hank says, oh, and Chris, did you know someone built an MTBCB-based application that connects a real PC to a DOS-backed IPX server? Ooh, hey, that's kind of cool. You might have seen my Mars NW video that I put out recently, which was kind of fun. And in a few weeks here, we're going to see a video on boot ROMs. I was talking to IBM Museum. Not sure if you're still in the chat here, but he and I had this idea of we should try out boot ROM. So I've got one of those, and I made a video on it, and that'll go out here in a few weeks. Little channel secret. Most of the videos are actually done weeks before, and I've kind of intermixed some of the videos. So if you see the quality worse one week and better the next, that's because I'm mixing some old videos with new videos as I release them. But anyway. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier. So we were talking about 386s, and this is another video that you're going to see pretty soon. So I had a 386 SX16 growing up, and it was just so slow. So I had to like pick up one in the modern times to see if it was as bad as I remember. So I bought a Milex motherboard for $50, had a 386 SX16 soldered to it, and to see if it was bad as I remember. Spoiler alert, yeah, it's pretty slow. So you'll see that here in a few weeks as well. Not a Hank S about the boot ROM. It's actually it's a ROM chip that goes on your network card, kind of like these XT IDE chips are, where you've got a boot ROM on startup, and it's a boot ROM that'll boot right into NetWare. So boots right into NetWare 3.12. It's kind of cool. I was actually really excited about that. But yeah, that'll debut on the channel here in a few weeks, maybe a month or so, depending upon where I am. Okay. So this second keyboard is out. I guess I haven't made too much of a fool of myself. I'll try harder. And allegedly, this is a, well, very nice keyboard, as I said. And I think the mouse is bad, but we're going to leave the mouse in for now. Now the curious engineering, like paranoid mind of me wants to know where that stupid broken clip is. Oh, my. Ugh. Looks like I've got a couple broken clips. Ugh. That one's a little bit broken there. So where is the other broken clip? Because I'm not seeing it. We've got 1, 2, 3 of these like slider things here. Actually 4. And, oh yeah, okay. Goes right here, folks. See? When I don't know what the heck I'm doing, here, we'll use a pen. The point, funny story, as I was making the one of the videos, I think I was using a pair of pliers, and then I started using that as a pointing device. You have to look for that when the video goes out. But in any event, I'm going to try and glue this back down and see if it fixes it. But yeah, I guess that's what happens when I don't know what I'm doing and I'm a little bit too brash. Anyway, I think that fortunately, Compaq did kind of over-engineer these. So since that's the case, I think that we're going to be okay. But we're going to put a little bit of super glue in here and see if we can fix these guys. And we'll let that dry. This kind of plastic, super glue kind of works. So we'll see what we can do here. I'm going to hold this down here for 30 seconds and we'll put that in. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've got, this isn't working. Oh, this other one's broken too. I really did a number on this, guys. Ugh. So I guess I must have pulled out like this when I pulled the keyboard out, and I broke another one of them off too. Goodness. So B Bishop says, I installed Windows 95 on a 386 and it took 3 hours. Oh, you're a glutton for punishment. Windows 95, man, the damn thing would barely run Windows 3.1. I can only imagine what 95 would be like. You'll see in the video, I had to speed it up to 5x, and even with 5x speed up, it took it 20 seconds to boot Windows 3.1. So you can imagine just how slow it was. It's pretty bad. So we'll definitely glue that together. Hank, so yeah, so like a Pixie boot instead of Pixie, it's NetWare, or is it NetWare over Pixie? Not quite Pixie, it's its own sort of standard. Oh my goodness, I should know this, right? I just did a video on it. That it's its own sort of standard where it actually boots off the ROM, and the boot ROM knows to go looking for like a special NetWare image. And you run this command called DOSGen, and you basically feed a floppy image in, and by doing that, you're able to create something that boots. So yeah, that's what that's all about. So i8386SX, it's not even pretty on a 38625. Yeah, I do have a 386SX25. It's an AST Premium Exec. Nice little notebook. I think I featured it in the past video where I was making greeting cards. And that video, let's see, that machine actually had a color display as well. It was pretty whiz bang for the time. Yeah, it's even running 3.1 on that is kind of marginal. I've always kind of thought that the 486 systems really were pretty revolutionary in their speed, and then you got to the Pentiums, and it was like, wow. And I feel like we've kind of lost that because, yeah, you get an i5 versus an i3 or a Ryzen 5 versus a Ryzen 3, and they're not quite as you don't see quite as big of a variance as you did going from like a 286 to like a 486, like people did back in the day. When they did that, that was really something. So it doesn't feel like it's that kind of same level as it was back then. But anyway, I'm gluing things back together. Shoot, I was hoping I could get this keyboard installed back today, but I think that we're going to be doing some gluing. So, Hank says, makes me more hyped up for your open enterprise server attempt. Would be cool to see how far back it goes with that compatibility. Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, I put that one in the list as well. So whenever I get I have kind of like 4 categories of videos to make, like priority-wise, and whenever I get a request from a viewer, that ends up being a higher priority. So the viewer requested videos get made first. So that one's at the top of the list. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what the channel's all about, is being able to do things that people like to see, and things that I enjoy doing as well, of course. And the two tend to collide, so that's always good. They mesh, I should say, not collide. So. Wow, I really did a number on this, guys. What a shame. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, and it's very apparent. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens. But I'm probably going to have to set this one aside. And this middle one here doesn't seem to want to be gluing back together at all. Maybe if I put some glue in there and put something heavy on top of it, it'll kind of make itself come together here. But I think I might have noted crazy glue doesn't always tend to work very well with these type of fasteners, but I'll sit here and hold this for another 10-20 seconds and, you know, kind of hold my head in shame here as I try to put this thing back together. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Fortunately, this is a parts machine, but I do, one thing I don't have actually is really nice spare keyboards. All of the keyboards I have either have broken mice or they're extremely yellow and need some retro brighting. So, yes, Tim, the protocol is RPL. That is correct. A system with a Novell NE1000 card with need a boot ROM. Tried it once ago, but haven't used it regularly. Yes, you are absolutely correct. RPL. And there was like an Intel standard, I want to say, as well. This is coming back to me now. That's right. Yeah, there's only so much capacity up here. Sometimes we end up with memory out of memory errors. So this must be one of those cases where I had forgotten that, despite not making the video that long ago. But yeah, that can definitely happen. But yeah, for sure. So, this is not bonding. Yeah, shoot, I really did it this time, guys. The other ones are seeming to bond though, so there's hope. Maybe with just the right amount of force and the right amount of glue and the right amount of patience. I'll take the best 2 out of 3. I think patience is probably where I lack in that department. but we'll see what the story is there. And I might just put it back together and call it a day. And it'll just be the way it's going to be. So since I don't know how exciting it is to sit here watching me hold a screwdriver trying to reattach a broken keyboard mount, right? So anyway, we'll see what we end up doing. But yeah, kind of fun. So yeah, very cool. But yeah, it's good though. It's good to see so many people passionate about the hobby. I kind of have a pretty wide variety of machines in my collection, as you've seen, despite, well, I guess the LTE 5000s don't count as variety. But I do have a Tandy 1000HX, as I noted. I have a custom 486DX4. Have a 486DX2 66, actually two of those. And several Pentium class machines, Packard Bell, Multimedia C110, Compact Desk Pro 6000. I have a custom Pentium 2. I have a Packard Bell. I have what I call the Taco Supreme. I think I've featured that one in a past video. I need to pull that one out again. It's a Packard Bell with 0 expansion. You can't put any expansion cards in it. I guess it was like an ultimate, like low-cost machine. So definitely have that one as well. And yeah, a couple of other machines as well. So hello, Eunice. You say hello. On my HP Compact NC6230, I had it sitting on a bucket, and one day into it, it fell, and one of the hinge cover broke off, and I could glue it back or do something else to get it to stay on. Yeah. When you break something and try and glue it back together, it's kind of a sinking moment, and you kind of hope for the best, and sometimes that can happen. Ted Branson, the gel type of super glue seems to give some port while it sets. Ooh, okay, that's a good idea. See? I'll have to go and try that. That's a really good idea. So Hank says it's all about the software. The PC mentioned trying to run as many generations of software as I can. 98 up to Windows 10 works great. DOS works great, so now I'll try 95 and 311. Yes, yes. Those are 95 and 311 is pretty much where I live. I do have 98 on some systems, but one boot manager that I use, I haven't featured it directly on the channel, is Boot It Bare Metal. It was about a $40 boot manager that I bought, and I really like it because you can really easily set up a lot of different partitions in boot. So that's definitely something to try out if you haven't done that. So that's good. Mitchell says, I'm pretty new to the retro scene. Nicest community I've ever found. So true. Yes, there are so many great folks in the hobby. It's wild to reconnect with the computers I grew up with and learn about the ones I always dreamed about. Yes, well, we can now afford them, though. What I'm finding with the pandemic, unfortunately, is what Commodore 64s are now $400 or $500. So hopefully things stay somewhat affordable. But yeah, we can only hope, right? For sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So Hank says, mine runs booted in EMBR mode. I love how it has a built-in backup tool. Yes, so that's actually exactly what I do as well. EMBR mode, and then you've got the ability to, let's see, what was I going to say? Copy partitions, resize partitions, do pretty much anything that you want to do. And that makes things really, really nice because I'm constantly doing that. And even this ThinkPad E495 that I'm streaming from has booted bare metal on it. So it runs on pretty much anything, I want to say 386 and above. I haven't tried it on the SX16. Maybe I should. Well, actually that motherboard has been taken out of the machine and put into the closet already. As I noted, I did a video on a 386 SX16 and bought a motherboard specifically for it. And the running joke in the video is, by the end of the video, before I even get to the outro, the motherboard has been taken out. It did not. It just, you'll see. I'm giving away all the spoilers for that video. I hope it's still fun to watch when it comes out. But anyway, yeah, I ended up doing that. So, but yeah, Booted's a great product. If you haven't checked it out, definitely something worth trying out. And no, I do not own stock in terabyte unlimited software or otherwise, but it's definitely something that you might want to look. So cool. So how's this setting going? Well, I could be impatient and totally break these off. I could slide the keyboard in here very carefully and just glue them back on if they break. Yeah, as I noted, I'm not a very patient person, so I think we're going to go ahead and Go for it. What's the worst that can happen, right? Yeah. So worst case, I think we're going to put that keyboard back in that had all the or the bezel back in that had all the screw holes missing. So I could see how putting this assembly in here, how it definitely puts a little bit of pressure on those. So yeah, even like trying to be careful. And verdict, drum roll please. Huh. Okay. Is it perfect? No. That one didn't really stay in place. That one kind of did. But you know what? I'm just going to put it back together. It seems like we're good here. So, all right. So now we've got a nice clean bezel without screw holes in it and a very nice looking keyboard. So that's exciting. So we'll definitely do that. So Hank says the other retro machine he has is a special, an IBM Shure POS 500, all-in-one cashier PC with touchscreen, including touchscreen BIOS. The only problem is that they took the drivers down. Have you tried archive.org? You might be able to find something, but then again, no guarantees that you will. So, but you can definitely have a look. I'm now pulling up the picture. If I had a nickel for every time I put my password in wrong, I'd be pretty rich. All right, here we go. So I've got this nice picture side by side here so I can put this darn thing back together. Oh, by the way, if you guys are wondering what sort of camera and recording equipment I use for my videos, this is it. I don't have any special camera otherwise. I'm sure it shows, but all videos, except for this live stream, of course, because I'm using my webcam, are done on this Samsung Galaxy S9. That's my tool of choice. Maybe at some point I'll actually buy a real camera, but yeah, all the videos are actually done on this little phone. This one interesting little tidbit anyway. So, all right. So looking at this here, we've got these two standoffs which are identical. I think that one of them goes here like this. That's not threading really well. What's the secret to something not threading really well? Force it. Anyway, seems to be going in now. Yeah, sure. Perfect. Okay. And of course, my phone screen went blank. So then, okay. Oh, do we have to put that other doohickey in first? Yes, we do. So, I'm off to bad start. So before we put that in, we have to put this in. So that is going to, let's see here, maybe go like that. Maybe it's this one. Nope, it's not going to be this one because the screw holes don't line up. So, okay, so it's going to be this one. And, okay, yep, makes sense. So it's got to go this way because on this side is where we have this little hole here. Oh, there we go. So, good. And, yeah. Well then, or not. All right, I'm totally messing this up. Well, anyway, we tried. That doesn't seem right because there's a little latch on this side which seems like it would need to face outward. So I'm gonna, maybe it is this other piece. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I've obviously got this all sorts of flipped up, upside, wrong and backwards. So, oh, there we go. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let's see. I'm really making this hard. I'm at least trying. So anyway, let's read some comments here. So Hank said, tried everything. Almost nobody had these in the original downloads. Need an IBM contract. Okay. I know recovery CDs existed once. It has an Intel 845 graphics, but every normal driver freaks the screen out. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that makes things difficult. So, Ted, that's why it wasn't screwing in. Yeah, so I guess the paradox here is that I tried to make this better, and maybe I've made it worse. So, what can you do? Let's see here. It's got. Don't panic, Chris. This has got to be the piece. Yeah, there we go. Finally figured it out. So, all right. So that goes there. And then this piece here, brother. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want to hire me to fix your compact keyboard. I would severely disappoint you. All right. This piece goes like this, it appears. And there we go. So that goes like that. And then this is like a latch, and I think we have to put a spring on there or something. So then we have, yep, these two stand off. So one goes here, and one goes over here. And with that, we'll see. Yeah, this is starting to shape up, I guess. What can you do? Hopefully I didn't, miss putting anything else in just now, because that would make me sad. Okay, not really. All right, so now, all right. Okay, so there's another goofy kind of looking standoff, kind of weird. I guess that's just because of the way that it needs to go in and fit, but it ends up going over here, like so. All right. No, actually, that's fine. Okay. Because the next thing that has to go is this piece. And I thought I might have just undone myself here by doing that, but this piece, sorry, I'm not giving the best shot. It does slide right over top like that. So that's fortunate. I don't know, guys. I might actually get this back together. Maybe even get it working right. We'll see. Yeah. Great fun. This is what it's all about, though. I mean, like I noted earlier in the stream, I just like to tinker, and repairing stuff provides that. And then once I get this fixed, I'll lose interest in it. So, but this machine, full disclosure, is probably going to end up being a parts machine anyway, because yeah, that's what I bought it for. So, all right, just about have everything back in. We've got one more screw to put in of these types, and it goes over on the left there. So verdict, was the picture helpful? Yes, it was. Was it necessary? Well, as somebody noted, maybe we could have just played the live stream back. But this has been very helpful to have to put this back together quickly. So there you go. All right, okay, cool. I'm like, this is missing a spring. So now we have these two little sliders that go on each side. And as I recall, there's a little edge on the spring there, which we can then use to hook in. And I'm sure that I will get them exactly backwards as I go to put these things together. Looks like this one goes on this side, and it looks like this one goes on this side. And we need to figure out where that little spring ends up attaching. Shoot. Could it be that I have to take it all apart to do that? Probably. You know what they say about the 5 Ps, right? Prior planning prevents perfect performance, right? Hardly. So maybe we can see how that's going to go here. But, oh, goodness. Yeah. I can't remember how that hooks in there. Oh, no. So, well, let's do the other side. That's right. So for this, yeah. There's this very, very small ridge right here where, of course, I point to it and cover it, where that's going to hook on. And there should be one on the other side as well, maybe, though. Hey, I have an idea. Maybe I can find a fully disassembled one that still has it attached, and then I would know exactly where it goes. Yeah, so it goes on this little hook. Okay, aha, I see where it goes now. So I did that on purpose. Yeah, so for this side, yeah, there's this little hook that goes on, and it's probably going to be easiest to take it back apart now that I've put it all back together. But yeah, you know what? It looks like it's just one screw to take it apart. So that's what I'm going to do because these other screws kind of pass through. So anyway. Okay. No, it's not just one screw because we have these other ones that tighten down. That's okay. Anything worth doing right once is worth doing right twice. I don't know. So Hank says it's like Lego. Building it is more fun than playing with it afterwards. Absolutely. That is so true. So my son really likes Legos. Gets the Legos, brings them home, puts it all together. What's he want to do? Tear it apart. Of course, the problem is with Legos, I've noticed, is you go to tear it apart, and the instructions, when you first get it, everything comes in a little bag, numbered 1 through 5, and it makes it really easy. But when you go to take it apart and then put it back together subsequently, it doesn't quite work as well. So there's that. All right. So this, I think, goes in here. Yeah, there we go. So I've got this little eject mechanism where it belongs. And from there, let's put that in there. And I think this is supposed to like snap down, as I remember. Something isn't quite right. Let me look at the picture here again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually that might be okay. So, okay. If we snap that in the base there, and then from there, I think if I screw this back in, then we'll have it. So we'll see. Yeah, pretty crazy. Ah, yes, Michael Lenderman. I know that name, so that individual there can tell you all about Legos. And yes, I forgot you were on here as I was not throwing shade your way, Michael, but saying that yes, you like to build things and then tear them apart and then get more things to build. At least that's been my experience.
I was down there with him watching too.
And then, oh, okay. My daughter has come upstairs. She was downstairs watching. So my kids are going to be experts at repairing compact LTE keyboards because I'm certainly not. I just realized something. This one slider has to go underneath this. So there we go. Now with that, hopefully, we'll be able to get it going. But it's getting close to dinner time. Whoa, it's actually probably way past dinner time. So, okay, I think I got that working. Let's see if we can get this keyboard connected up and do a little bit of testing. And then from there, that might be what we end up doing for today. But yeah, this is, it's going better. You know, I think I can disassemble and like fully reassemble one of these machines in about 25 minutes. So to see me struggle like this on a keyboard, yeah, that's because I just have no idea what I'm doing because I don't typically do this. So, all right. So, So now all that we have left to do for now.
Screws I see.
There are definitely lots of screws. Yes. There are definitely lots of screws. That's right.
How long have you been live streaming for?
We have been live streaming, I don't know how long. Maybe an hour.
Probably.
Yeah. My kids definitely enjoy retro machines. They like to play multiplayer, Tetranet, which is Tetris. I think maybe at some point that's something that we could all do together. If anybody's ever looked at Tetranet, you can go do that. So Michael Lenderman in the chat asks, how long does it take you to build this? Someone else would like to know. Well, the only answer I have for that is too long at my current rate that I'm going here, but it is what it is. What can you do?
All I can comment, nice flying toasters earlier.
And you saw the flying toasters. That's good.
Yes.
Yep. Cool. All right, so there we are. I can kind of tape that down, and I'm going to take B. Bishop's advice here, and I'm going to get some of that special tape that will hold things in better especially since the tape that's on here doesn't look like it's going to do so much for us. Pardon me.
Wait, there's tape on a retro machine?
Absolutely. So, all right. Two more screws, and then we're going to give this a try. Hey, I don't know if you're still in the chat, Tim, but your prediction ran true because it is now pouring here at the house. So anyway, it is now pouring here at the house. So I-8386SX says it took 3 hours to tear apart the 5280. Yeah, trust me, you definitely get better at it over time as you take them apart. So, all right, this is assembled, and the mouse buttons seem to be working pretty good. So I'm going to hook this in, and we're going to do two things. One, let's see if everything is all set with the keyboard, and two, let's see if the mouse actually works. And if it doesn't, we'll try swapping it out with another mouse. The mouse swap out is actually a fairly easy thing to do. Let me make sure I've got the right machine here. Okay, yep. So, Hank said, notice the same problem with retro builds. When it's new, you get everything, so suddenly you lack cables. Had to wait a month to get CD audio, and I accidentally ordered a cable from the US. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I see. I'm down in Stone Ridge, Tim, and it's definitely pouring here as well. I forgot to put something on. I forgot to put this here, so now we get to do that. I have found, though, that putting the spring on the other side, as I pointed out earlier, is a little bit easier. So we'll definitely do that and get that going. So anyway.
Is it raining retro computers?
It's raining retro computers. That's right. So.
Oh, that would be like horrible.
As my wife says, that would be horrible if it were raining retro computers.
You would just run outside and start catching them.
Right outside and, yeah.
And then continue the live stream. No, I did like the car.
That's good.
Fix that.
Sounds like my car is getting a bath. So, actually, I lied. It's a little bit more difficult to put that on. I'm not going to do that right now. But let's go ahead and test out the mouse. See what we get. And if that works, then we'll move on. If it doesn't work, then I'll try to replace that. And we'll declare some degree of victory today. Yeah, this is the LCD power cord I held in my hand here. So we'll go ahead and put that in.
What kind of tape did you use?
Just electrical tape. So yeah. All right, so going to hook the keyboard into the motherboard. Oh, that's odd.
What you doing?
Oh, it looks like this is kind of sealed together somehow. Odd. I haven't seen that before. Well, let's go ahead and put it in. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of adhered itself, so I'm going to go ahead and separate it.
Whoa.
With this right here, unless I accidentally jammed this in. Highly possible. No, I think it's just kind of adhering. There we go. So it was just kind of stuck to itself. So once again, this old tape, that's how things can go. Yeah, it's definitely raining. Hank says it's definitely raining keyboard bits. And with a little bit of luck, we'll get all the keyboard bits back together. I still do have optimism. So, all right, keyboard's hooked in, mouse is hooked in. We're at a good spot where we can test. I'm not even going to seat this because I have a theory that the mouse is going to have problems. So let's hook it in. Somebody please grab the fire extinguisher. Kidding. I haven't heard one of those pop caught on fire yet, but we'll definitely do that. So here we go. See what we get. So I'm going to go into F10 setup here. Good. Keyboard's registering. That's always a good thing. We didn't do anything electronically to it. We just, And, of course, and yeah, I'm not seeing the mouse. Actually, the mouse isn't even getting detected at this point because I don't even see a cursor. That's bad. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Oh, heck, look at this. Well, yeah, it's not getting detected. I didn't hook, it must have pulled out of its jack when I was messing with the keyboard connector. So I have never done that before. That's a first. Well, but that's kind of why I wanted to test, because if the chances were that that mouse was just loose to begin with in the first place, then maybe that could be the cause of the problems. But anyway, let's see what happens. Yeah. All right. Still no smoke. Sorry to disappoint. I did catch something on fire once. It was my GoTech floppy emulator. It was actually when I was making that absolutely terrible video that's very popular on my channel for some reason. Anyway, when I made that video, I went to hook in the power for the GoTech and accidentally crossed streams there. And it caught on fire. So that didn't start up that time. Weird.
I kind of want to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll do an outtake reel. So let's see what we got here. There we are. So now we'll do F10 setup here and see what we got. Good old keyboard. I think you get like 14 or 15 characters in the buffer but once you do that too much. Yes, Molevi, I agree. A good top-down camera would help. We're pretty low budget here, maybe for the future. Okay, so I see the mouse cursor stuck in the top left corner of the screen. That's one little red dot to the left of computer. So Hank says these plasticky mouse things are so insanely fiddly to work with. True. I agree. And let's see here. Tim says, talking about a system that has exploded in price over the last year. My first computer was a TRS-80 Model 1. They have rocketed in price this last year. Yes. I think it makes sense. If you look at it, you have people that are getting into the hobby, especially for machines of this vintage because of our age, right? And then from there, with the pandemic and people being stuck inside, I think it's just kind of led to people, wanting to get machines from their childhood or otherwise collect. And what we've seen is, get new hobbies, and we've seen a surge in the price as a result from that for the parts. So definitely it's been a thing. But yeah, the TRS-80s. I had a TRS-80 Model 1 Level 2, I think it was. Trying to remember. You'll get me corrected on this right away. The TRS-80 model that had all the electronics and the keyboard, essentially. So I'm trying to remember which one that was. I probably have it wrong. So, but that's the one I had. And I think I put it into storage and then moved out of the house like most kids do eventually. And when I came back, well, it was gone. That's okay. I didn't have any expectation it would be there when I got back, and I guess my expectations were met. So anyway, that can happen. All right, so so here we have the other mouse that we're going to swap in. I can't remember if this mouse is good or not. I usually do a pretty good job of labeling things, and in this case, I think I did a poor job. So we'll see what happens, and if this works, great. If not, at least we tried. As the saying goes for me, I say, if at first I don't succeed, maybe success was not my style. Oh, wait, is it supposed to be try again? Well, anyway. Try again, my daughter tells me. But yeah, so. All right, so we're going to put this back together here and see what we get and hope for the best. But, I mean, what's the worst that happens is we have one LTE, it doesn't work, and there's how many of them? So anyway, but let me put these little tiny screws back in.
How many things do you have of this?
I think I have 12 of these. Actually 13 with this one, and but one of the 13 is already promised out to somebody, so.
Which one is that?
Another 5100, just like this one. So, all right. Now, as I tediously trying to get these screws in, there we are. Maybe we can just kind of throw those in, and we'll see if we have a working mouse, and then we'll call it. Because I think it's dinner time. I think people from work are looking for me. I see some Slack messages I probably need to answer. So there we go. All right. One more. I know, this is probably like watching paint dry at this point. Okay, okay, was a Model 1. That's what I thought. Yeah, okay, yeah, Model 1, right. And then you could upgrade the Model 1s to the different levels. That's right. I seem to remember something about that now. Yep, definitely. And Hank writes, I assume it was also has to do with the fact that modern PCs are very similar and work well. No need to tinker with them. For tinkerers, the retro PCs are much more exciting. Oh, yeah. I mean, that is so true. I think we all have stories of getting things to work in MS-DOS and Windows 3.1. And of course, Windows 95 introduced plug and play, but there were several of us who called it plug and pray, since, you know, we'd pray that the thing would actually work when you plugged it in. But it was a step in the right direction. But from there, yeah, things have gotten boring, and that if you have a new piece of hardware and you install it, Windows Update finds the drivers for you. What fun is that, right? All right. That's going to have to do. Let's try another power on here and see if this mouse works. So here we go. This one did have a kind of a flaky power on once. I hope that the motherboard's good. Nice to see that 7.20 BIOS on startup here as opposed to the 7.32, which is just absolutely terrible. All right, let's see what we got mouse-wise. Yay, look at that. We got a working mouse. Success, kind of. So now what I'm going to do is take this nice pointer, which looks brand new. Look at that, guys. Looks brand new. So I'll go ahead and put it on there. My daughter wants to see it. See, there it is. Yep. Isn't that nice? So we'll put that on there, and we'll be all set. Cool. So at this point, it's just a matter of some assembly required, but, oh, actually, there's one other thing I wanted to test, so we're going to do it because we're here. It's the memory card that came with the machine, and this actually will be kind of a fun test. So we'll do that, and then we'll call it. But basically, where's the floppy drive? Here it is. Nope. Once again, like I said, the reason I don't usually do live streams is because I'm extremely absent-minded and tend to lose things. So I'm off looking for my screwdriver half of the time, and yeah. So we'll put the floppy drive in. I'm going to put the other memory module back in, and we're going to run a test. So here that is, and all of its 16 megabyte glory. Nothing like seeing memtest, like totally just like have a fit. So let's see what this starts up with and sees. Oh, you know what? I actually, when I was trying this earlier, I got into a boot loop with this memory chip installed. So, oh, this time it detected 64, okay, or 16384. Last time it detected like 12, so I guess that's some semblance of improvement. Okay, so now I'm tempted to, yeah, let's just run a quick bout of memtest and see what we find. So, isn't this how you guys run all your machines? You know, keyboard hanging off, disk in the drive. So, do you think that maybe there's a problem with this module? So, this is kind of like the story my dad once told me. He bought a tester for his microwave to see if it was leaking radiation. And this is like back in the early 80s. So he put the tool up next to the microwave and it wasn't showing anything. She's like, well, maybe the tool's no good. So he puts it in the microwave and of course then it just breaks and goes totally bad. You're not supposed to do that. So in this case, it's like, you know, people will run memtest and everything will be sitting there passing and you're like, is there really a problem? Well, when you get to a case like this, you can definitely see that there's a problem. So there's that for sure. Let's give it one more reseat and a test and see if we can get some progress out of it because I'm kind of curious. So yeah, that's.
Question: did the microwave explode?
Did the microwave explode? I don't think the microwave exploded because we used it for several years thereafter. So, all right. So I'm going to just take the module here. We'll do some sort of a ritual or a seance here, and maybe I'll get some alcohol and clean it later. But for now, we're just going to do that. I'm going to reseat it, and we'll run memtest again. As I have found in the past that sometimes modules just aren't seated well, and that's where you run into trouble. So let's do that and see if we make any progress. So Hank, that's good that you've got things running stably. Yeah, it can definitely take some time to get things running stable for sure. And getting that DOS configuration that you really want, and hope and love. So, all right, let's see if we get instant failure again. Oh, yeah. All right, so I think that module's no good. Let's put a good module in and do a mem test on it. Come on. So I just so happen to have this 32 megabyte module here, and it's good. At least I think it is. At least it was the last time I tested it. I often am afraid to power on the fleet because every time I power on the machines, something breaks. So there's always that. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. So yeah, I agree, Ted. Yeah, kind of like doing a reseat, and yeah, I've done a couple of those. Oh no. Oh shoot, this one's detecting as 12. Oh, that's bad. This may be a motherboard problem or a processor card problem. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Darn it. Yeah, so probably not the modules. It's probably the processor card of the motherboard, which is unfortunate. Yeah. Shoot. And when I put the module in earlier, the 32 megabyte module in earlier, it did pick it up okay. So the memory slides into the processor card. So it could be the processor card or it could be the motherboard itself. Nah, 12. Oh. So, oh, geez. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. That ends up being a bigger teardown, and it is getting to be dinner time. So probably going to forego doing that tonight. But yeah, maybe I'll do a little bit more testing, and we'll see if there's anything that we can find out, and I'll post some updates down below. But hey, everybody, really appreciate you tuning in and watching. This is kind of the first one of these that I've done, so welcome to the inaugural one. It's been great hanging out with you and chatting with you in the chat. And yeah, have a great evening. Enjoy the weather wherever you are, and as always, keep it retro. So thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.